Live. Hello and welcome to Coppell High School Game Day. That's the first time we're doing it live. I'm here with Nick Boyd, one of my co-hosts, Kevin Galvin, Plunger Boy. We're so excited to have you here. Let's take a look up at that last week's matchup.
Last week, Coppell went and they traveled to J.J. Pierce. It was their second district game of the year. They did come out with a win, but it was a very sloppy win. There was a lot of offensive miscues. Defense didn't play great. There was that one interception by Camel LaPuma, but it just wasn't a great game overall for Coppell, so I'm really looking for them to bounce back this week.
Yeah, Kevin, you were at that game. What did you see from that game?
You know, what really stood out was the lack of ball security on offense. I think we had 5 fumbles and only 2 were recovered, so we lost 3 possessions that were just given away. But with that being said, I thought the defense actually did. I thought they played well that game, you know?
Yes, touching on what Kevin said, ball security was a huge deal last week. Like he said, we did lose 3 fumbles, and those were 3 huge possessions that could have led to scoring drives for the Cowboys. And so that's just something that really needs to be cleaned up for this week. Another issue that I kind of touched on that I saw last week was we didn't have a regular student section presence like we usually do. So do you think that kind of had an effect on how the team played?
Yeah, for sure. It's difficult when it's first off an away game, and second off on a non-school day. It's kind of hard to get the word out, say everybody, the game is at this stadium. That's something else that contributed, because Richardson has multiple stadiums. We didn't actually play at J.J. Pierce High School. We played at the Richardson Stadium. And I think that sometimes, when when the players get down on themselves, the student section is often something that can pick them up, and that was missing from that game. You were very right.
Looking at last week's game by the Lake Highlands Wildcats, they took on Skyline. So, Cole, what did you kind of see looking back at that game?
Yeah, 44-37 was the final score there. Lake Highlands taking that L. But what was an important takeaway for that game is defense on Lake Highlands seems to be lacking a little bit. When you get that high scoring, both defenses may have not have been playing that well. One thing I've been looking about at Lake Highlands is their offense. Their offense has been stellar. We got this 1-2 combo with Corey Fulcher. He's a senior. He's a wide receiver running back. They switch him back and forth. And their quarterback, Jackson Thompson, he is actually a junior there. And what he's been doing, his ability to scramble out of the pocket, it's allowed him to, has great vision. He's been able to see, and even Corey Fulcher, I kind of see similarities with him and Blake Jackson, who's actually out this week, in the way that, touchdown pass, they have that connection. So definitely it's something the defense has to look out for.
Definitely a 1-2 punch that we're seeing. And with Coppell, what you were kind of touching on, Cole, we are missing Blake Jackson this week. So one of Coppell's leading receivers is going to be out this week. So I'd like to see how that's going to kind of impact this week's game. I think it's going to be a huge offensive loss. But one person I really am looking to come back this week is Jonathan McGill. He has been out. He hasn't been out, but he's been injured, and it's kind of sidelined his performance since that LD Bell game. So I'm looking for him to really bounce back this week, have a big game. He did have a rushing touchdown last week, but I'm really looking for him to have a big bounce-back game this week.
Yeah, I think somebody that just needs to show up this week. Obviously, a very a weak defense, and if Brady McBride can really show up and get that Jonathan McGill connection back, especially after injury, I think it's going to be safe for the Cowboys, but their defense has to show up as well. Who are you looking forward to show up tonight?
I got my eye on Pierce McFarland. I got nothing but love for him. But like you said about Jackson Thompson, he's such a threat outside the pocket. So Pierce, that middle linebacker, he's going to have to keep his eye on him, make sure he can't make any big plays.
And so when we're looking at the J.J. Pierce offense, they scramble often, but their offense isn't their only strong suit. On defense, they have a senior linebacker named Terrence Clark, and he is a huge threat on defense. I really think he's going to impact our running game this week. He's a huge threat. Last week against Skyline, he had 8.5 tackles, and 3 of those were tackles for losses on running plays. So it's going to be huge to see how his presence impacts Ryan Hurt's performance this week.
And I think one of the best things about how these districts work is it's our second matchup this time. We played Lake Highlands last year, spanked them pretty bad actually, 52-10. It was a pretty bad loss for them, and that just shows our offensive threat. If we can take advantage of our defense, if our defense shows up tonight, I wouldn't see that kind of scoreline could definitely happen again. Definitely the defense is starting to click more with Pierce and Campbell LaPuma stepping up in each of his last 2 games having an interception. So I believe if he can step up too, that's just going to play. I feel like our defense has translated into one of our best offense, getting those pick sixes and really changing the flow of the game entirely. Kevin, what are you looking forward to in this game?
I'm just looking for a bounce-back game. Our confidence might not be where it needs to be heading into playoffs already. We got our eyes on playoffs already. But, this is definitely going to be a game where hopefully we're at home and we can just get our juices flowing again.
Yes, like he said, this is a huge game. This is our 3rd district matchup of the year. I really think the morale's been down since the Allen game. We traveled to Allen, we lost, and then we had a bye week, and then we went to J.J. Pierce, and it just wasn't a great game for Coppell offensively or defensively. There was that one pick, but it really just wasn't great for Coppell. So I really am looking forward to them bouncing back this week. I think it's going to be a huge game. And I'm really looking forward to see how the defense adapts to a mobile quarterback who's very good at getting out of the pocket, and how our offense just responds to a strong defensive presence by the Lake Highlands Wildcats.
There we go. The Cowboys, as you see behind us, are going to start taking the field. That's going to do it here for Friday School. Nick, who's your pick for the week? Who's going to win this game?
My pick for this week?
Bring it out. He's got the head. Cowboy Carl, Cowboys are the pick this week. That's right. We hope to see you next week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and we wish the Cowboys good luck tonight. Thank you.